Hey, I'm here in the LucasArts booth. I just got out of a demo with Star Wars The Old Republic, and guys, I want to tell you, first of all, I'm a little perturbed because I thought I had given up MMOs forever, and I don't think that's going to be the case after this game comes out.
All right, we got you. All right.
You've done your work. So the first thing that struck me when I was watching the demo, you guys have unveiled the Smuggler class. You're also showing the Bounty Hunter and a Sith. In the demo, they were essentially each class was being likened to kind of a sort of hero character from the original movies. You know, you've got your Darth Vader, your Boba Fett. I know you're not talking about all the classes yet, but do you feel that's true for every class in the game? Is there like an analog to like a character that you remember for every type of character you can play in this one?
Well, we want to make sure it feels heroic, right? So we want to make sure it feels the Star Wars fantasy first and foremost, and it's fun. So when you first start a game, we want to make sure you feel very powerful and heroic. So every class is done that way, and every class has its own unique story. So we are making sure that people, when they get into the game, it kind of meets their expectations and they feel real familiar with it.
Is there going to be a C-3PO class? I mean, can we expect all of the characters to be filled in, or?
Well,
no, we're not saying that. We're not talking about that. So we do have companion characters for all the heroic classes that we're doing, and you are going to see lots of different roles that you can play, and then two roles of people, characters who can come along with you to adventure.
Cool. Very cool. So it seems like you guys are really trying to capture sort of the flavor of a single-player RPG in this game. You know, most MMOs, everything just kind of happens around you, but I noticed here, some dialogue scenes, the camera actually moves away, and you've got some kind of cinematic angles and stuff. I'm curious, how are the missions being designed with that in mind? Are they instanced so that other players can't run into your cutscene and mess up what's going on, or how do you work that out?
Well, we haven't really talked about our mission structure yet in some detail, but you can bet that the missions are set up both to drive your personal story forward and also to explore the worlds, find out more about what's going on in the overall universe, and have fun. I mean, the main thing is to fulfill the fantasy and have fun. Fun trumps everything is the way we think about it. And Star Wars trumps everything. Star Warsiness trumps everything, if that's a word.
Well, the thing about a BioWare, and BioWare games have been traditionally like this, we build emotion in our storytelling, and the only way you do that is with cinematic moves like that, right, that you saw in there. So we have very much, like all BioWare games, we have emotion-based scripting with our digital actors and things like that. It helps drive the story, makes it more compelling.
And when you think about voiceover, right, so we have, literally thousands of roles which are voiced in our game, done by many, many hundreds of voice actors. So there's not like one voice actor doing 2,300 people, right? They're doing a few roles, and those roles tend to be pretty damn different, too. So I think that what you're going to see is that it'll be engaging. We're not, drawing men off the street to do our work. We're drawing, professional talent kind of across the board. So you're going to see a high-quality experience that, if we hit our mark, will be compelling the entire way through, not just partially through your class story or any, all the rest of the game. We want to keep people engaged. We want them to actually buy in and feel the emotion that is possible with the kind of games that we build at BioWare.
So I'm curious, since you guys announced the full voice this week, since you've got different character classes, and I'm assuming you haven't shown it yet, but maybe different kind of races, alien races that you can choose, or maybe genders. How diverse are the voiceovers going to be in terms of is there the smuggler voice? Is there like the one actor that does all the smuggler lines? Are you recording the same lines with multiple actors to get more diversity depending on like your racial choices and stuff? How are you breaking that down?
Well, we really haven't talked much about that yet, but we will have diversity in our voice talents, right? Depending on what you select.
And every role can be played from either a male or female perspective.
Right.
You guys have a kind of a multiplayer dialogue system in the game. You've got two guys in a party and they're both faced with a choice. How does it work so that both players can contribute to the choice that's made?
Well, right now we're still iterating on it, so it's been gone a lot of iteration, as you can realize. There's a lot of edge cases, what we call it, different scenarios that you have to account for. So we really kind of don't want to talk about that yet until we really get that nailed, and it's still in development right now.
definitely a goal, though, for us to be able, because what's the point? It's an online game. We want people to adventure together. We want them to have fun together. We want that experience of participating in a conversation. It wouldn't be any fun if only one person was making all the choices, right? Then you're just along for the ride. That's not empowering.
And the great thing about it is you look at the guy's choices. Oh, I can't believe you selected that, right? You can rib them as you go along, and that's kind of cool.
Cool. So you guys have got a pretty stylized art design, but also, I was struck just by the kind of level of detail. Even with the art style, it seems like you're still putting a lot of fine detail in there. Can you talk about what kind of hardware you're targeting for the game to run on? What is kind of a good solid system? Is it going to be top of the line that you're going to need to run at high resolutions, or is it going to be a pretty broad kind of requirement?
Well, we're definitely not announcing our min spec today, but it's been a goal from the very beginning to run on fairly modest hardware all the way through, because what we want is we want to reach the broadest possible audience. And while you and I may change our computer out every year, that's not the average person. The average person is not buying a brand new top of the line gaming computer every year. So we want to be able to get the most possible people into play, and that means making sure that our min spec is not incredibly low, but it's actually much more accessible to the average person.
Very cool. And I know I shouldn't even ask this question, but can you guys give us any indication of when we can look for this game?
When is it coming out?
Where's that lightsaber sound that we could do right now? And then